Copper bulbs and crafters just got nerfed, but copper grades just got buffed. Hello there, right here we got a brand new 1.21 snapshot. This is 23W46A. This latest Minecraft Java edition has brought a bunch of changes into a wide variety of things that were recently added into the game. Let's see how these changes will affect you, and I recently opened up a YouTube membership which you guys can join and get some unique perks. They changed it so that crafting tables can't craft stuff super fast no more. This turned out to be a bug as it has a NBT tag called crafting ticks remaining. This is typically how long it takes to craft something, and it's set to 6, meaning that it would take 6 game ticks. But it said it was kind of ignoring this, and it can actually craft stuff by powering on and off in 1 game tick, meaning that it could craft 20 things in 1 second. So with this change, there's no need to have like a whole bunch of droppers that are pushing stuff in super fast and crafting stuff super fast, as now the bottleneck for a single crafter is the time it could take to actually craft. So now it respects a 6 game tick delay. I went ahead and froze the game, and then when I powered the lever, it crafted up some of these stairs here. And if we take a look at the data for the actual crafter block, it'll tell us stuff like the crafting ticks remaining 5. And if we make 1 more game tick go by and then we check it again, now I see there is 4 game ticks left. So if you would unpower it and then repower it, during this 6 game tick delay, it's not able to craft any more items. Now 6 game ticks is a bit slower than your typical droppers, which you can push items in with droppers. Those can be powered every 4 game ticks, where hoppers move stuff every 8 game ticks. So the crafter is kind of in between a hopper and a dropper when it comes to its speed. So if you want to have faster crafters again, you just have to use multiple crafters rather than trying to push everything into a single one. But this change won't affect my super simple yet effective smart auto crafter machines, which I'll have linked down below. They also came in and changed the delay when it comes to the new copper bulbs. Let's go ahead and freeze the game and then turn this on and see exactly when they turn on. So it looks like they turn on the exact same time the redstone dust here turned on. So there's no delay when they turn on. So let's see how that compares to them being read by these comparators. So this comparator is going to read this redstone dust back here, and it's going to power this lamp here. And before, the redstone lamp would create 1 delay. So this lamp would normally turn on 1/20th of a second faster. For this one would be delayed by this lamp turning on, then getting read by the comparator, and then turning on 1/20th of a second later. Let's go ahead and advance it. 1 game tick, 2 game ticks, and you can see they both turned on at the exact same time. So instead of having a 1 game tick delay, there's now 0 delay whatsoever. So having a redstone line that's like this, powering a lamp, versus having a redstone line with the lamp in it, isn't going to make it any slower. We can also see this line here, which uses an observer rather than a comparator. Both of these do take 2 game ticks to activate. We can also see that their lamp turned on at the exact same time. So now let's see if there's any delay for this redstone lamp to turn off. We'll freeze it once again and we'll power this line, and when this gets updated, it should turn off. So the repeaters just turned on, this redstone dust turned on, and the lamps immediately got toggled. We can still see that this comparator is reading this one. So let's see how long it takes for that to switch. And 2 game ticks later, it does switch the comparator. This is what we'd expect. So the delay for the lamps turning on as well as turning off seems to be now instant, and before it took on 1 game tick. This means we can't use the trick I showed where you could just power a lamp to add in a single game tick worth of delay, which would have been nice in order to get stuff to time just perfectly. But they said that the reason they changed this as well as the crafter delay is to make it like the other redstone blocks that we currently have. And just like the redstone wire turns on as soon as it's powered, you'd kind of expect the lamp to turn on as soon as it's powered as well. They just said that this possibly will break builds where people have used either redstone lamps or crafters, especially if you're trying to use the very precise timing of each of these devices. What do you guys think about them changing the delay? Minecraft is looking for feedback on this as we are in the experimental snapshot still. They also came in and updated the crafter's textures, so now we'll illustrate exactly when it's being powered and crafting up items. You can no longer get glitched out written books when copying a single written book by having a bunch of books and quills in there, and as many as you have in there, you will produce that many written books. This is all fine, but then when you would actually power this crafting table, so it would craft it and then push its nearby ingredients into the nearby container. Here we have our bookshelf. What actually happens is that those 8 books somehow end up in the first 2 slots. And if you go to pull out this book, you can see we actually got a stack of 8 written books, all from a single slot inside of a bookshelf here, where the second slot didn't actually have anything in it. If it wasn't for the fact that when placing a comparator up to one of these bookshelves, that the comparator reads the last slot that was interacted with, rather than how many items are actually inside of the bookshelf, then we could have actually used a comparator to read the signal that comes out of here, and it would have been stronger than what you normally can get in survival. where you could get a redstone signal that is stronger than the normal 15 power. I did a whole video about this and how you could actually do this in survival by subtracting a side power, and yet even though you would subtract it, there would still normally be power over here. I'll have that video linked below if you're curious how that all worked, but because bookshelves aren't read like a normal container, it doesn't actually work, and either way it's not been fixed. They also give copper grades the ability to be waterlogged when before they would just displace the water. That gives us more blocks that can be waterlogged that will contain the water completely inside of them. This is really nice if you're trying to make something look really compact and small, while still having it have a nice function, like you can make a cobble gen really simply. It also makes a nice way to move water with a fly machine without it getting all over the place. I made some really cool fly machines using this, such as my infinite railway making machine, which I'll link down below. When it came to getting the Monster Hunter advancement, you're supposed to kill one of every hostile mob. Problem was, when you would kill a breeze, it wasn't yet added to this advancement. So now it will work like this lovely illustration here where it shows the player killing a breeze. And the next picture is them getting the Monster Hunter advancement. They also put the breeze's spawn egg for the creative menu up by the other mobs that start with the letter B rather than down here. They also fixed a problem where the breeze mob could actually flip levers one direction, as that's one of its properties with their charges, is it could flip things that are redstone related. But the problem was it wouldn't actually turn the levers back off again, so they now added this into the game. They also properly centered the wind charge where it appears to be. So if you want to hit this wind charge, you would probably try to hit it right in the middle. But before, what happened is that the actual place where you could hit it, which is this box here, was slightly above the actual center, which will make it easier to hit it in midair and redirect it, just like a gas fireball. They also fixed the capitalization when it came to the wind charge subtitles. So if you look at the bottom right, when the wind charge hits something, it says wind charge, but the word charge is lowercase. Despite when summoning in the wind charge, it shows up as being capitalized because it's the proper name of the entity. They gave the new trial spawners the same properties as a normal spawner, saying it cannot be replaced by features or a lava pool stone, so that way it won't get destroyed by the wide variety of features that are in the game. You can actually check them all out by doing this command here, as well as when the game puts in these lava pools and the stone that is surrounding them. So massive geodes like this should no longer destroy the actual spawners, but you can see that they were still destroying the room itself, so this part of the bug is yet to be fixed. When it came to normal spawners, in the past there was a problem that Husk as well as zombified piglets could actually stop spawners from producing more normal zombies. That's because these spawners were checking to see if there was so many mobs in the area before spawning in more zombies, and these guys were accidentally counting towards it. So with it fixed, we now don't have to worry about magma cubes stopping slime spawners or cave spiders stopping spider spawners. They removed it so you could no longer see the new copper crafting recipes if you first did not turn on the experimental snapshots, so you can see all the other new stuff as well. They also made sure that you wouldn't be able to get those advancements, such as putting wax on copper doors, without having the experimental 1.21 data pack turned on. Some big brain texture pack color expert realized that the colors that is used as the grout, which is the material that's between the individual bricks on the new tough bricks, this grout color here was inconsistent with other colors used inside of the tough blocks. They compare this with the polish variation, so now these two should look more similar. You'll no longer feel like you're spazzing out when you're spectating a mob that's taking damage, such as this zombie here, which is taking fire damage. And now you'll no longer get this silly message when trying to kick yourself from a single player world, where it talks about it being a LAN world, even if you have LAN turned off. When it comes to commands, it's also possible to edit individual display names for scoreboard entities. The different entities can have custom display names when showing up on scoreboards. Currently, the scoreboard is being shown underneath of the player's username. These values can also be kept separate per objective and score holder. You can use the commands such as score per player display name, and then you can select your target while the objective and the text component. This will set the display name. You can also clear the name by typing all this, but just not having the text component. You can also set it so that the display names will automatically update. This is normally set to false by default, but if set to true, as long as the entity is loaded, it can automatically update it. They also added so you can now format when it comes to numbers. Notice that the numbers over here have their own coloring. This can be done for both objectives as well as individual scores. They have some examples of how you can pull this off. When it comes to the actual formatting, there's stuff like bold, which you can set to true or false. You also can set it to be fixed or blank, where it won't display at all. Now leave a like on your way out, and follow me on all these other social media if you have them. Much love to this month's supporters, and I'll see you guys next one. Bye bye!